to Real Horror. This is a show where we discuss the horror movie of the week, and tonight we're discussing The Crow. And I want to thank my panelists for being here. Slasher, good to see you tonight. How you doing?
They keep calling me. What's up? How's everyone doing?
Good. It's awesome to have you here. We haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, getting old and having a fucked up back will do that to you.
Yeah, I understand. Vinny, nice to see you.
Great seeing you as well, and of course Slasher. Slasher's dude, you're awesome. I like streaming with you.
Yeah, man. I like chilling with both you guys.
Hell yeah, and one of my favorite movies here. So yeah, looking forward to talking about this one and some of the stuff behind it. Great movie, tragic, but also just it was killer.
Yeah. Awesome. Happy to have you guys. And there will be a couple other guests coming in a few minutes. But let's say hi to the chat. Toy Mafia, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Immortal Coil, thanks for dropping by. Superfan Adam Shawhan, how you doing? Get up here on this panel. Solar Wooden, thank you. I'm glad you like the title card. Good to see you. And Soul Assassin, yes, we're on now. And yes, do as he says. Slash that like button. Mr. Pulp War, how you doing? Good to see you. And we have a first comment on the movie from Mr. Pulp Noir. He says the comic is a lot more darker. Both the film and the comic are great.
I have zero knowledge. Yeah, same. I was about to say. I see when I saw this movie for the first time, all I knew is that it was a comic. I didn't know of the comic.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. I never read the comic, but just like you, I knew it was from a comic. And Draven is joining us. Good to see you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to talking about this movie.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know.
Glad you could be here.
Oh yeah.
So do you want to do first thoughts on the movie before we get into the review of it?
Sure. Yeah. However you'd like to do it.
All right. Well, Slasher, you can go ahead and go first. What really stands out to you about this movie?
The dark setting. That's like the every time there's a movie with a dark setting, that's the thing that first, that's obviously the first thing that I'm visually drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. So you like the aesthetic?
Yes, love it.
Yeah. And Vinny, how about you?
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, it really did capture everything out of that time period too. I mean, yeah, that dark setting was amazing. The visuals were absolutely incredible. I mean, even the big window in the apartment, there's killer shots in this movie. But the story itself, I mean, for as simple as it is, I mean, it's powerful, and it's that thing too of that whole thing of love even transcends death. Getting that, the character that he was getting the revenge, and finding and creating his own justice for what had happened to both him and his fiance. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's a very dark subject, especially when it's kind of the catalyst for what happens in the movie. Horrifying stuff, but what you get out of it is great. The addition of that girl as well, that knew them both, and to have her having that what's the word I'm looking for, that closure, I guess, in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of great stuff in here, but visuals and the story, I mean, it's a perfect blend.
And the soundtrack too.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was the hits.
Yeah. And Draven, so I'd love to hear what your thought, your initial feelings are on this movie.
So I seen it when I was younger, and then as I got older, obviously liked it more. And then the reason I got my name is because a friend of mine used to go by Angel Draven, and I took that on for a while after he like moved away, and he gave his blessing and said I could use it and stuff. So I've been using it ever since, and like it's a mix of obviously Angelus from Angel and Buffy, and then Eric Draven. But like the whole like abilities and all that stuff that he has is kind of like melded into my character and what he can do, and the evolution of him and whatnot. So
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, you know, and then being a goth kid in high school, you know, it's like the quintessential goth kid movie. Besides the Nightmare After, or the, what is it?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, the Nightmare Before Christmas. Like those two movies are like unanimous as far as like, you know, goth culture, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Decepticon, nice to see you. He's been dropping some facts about his experience with opening night. I don't know if you guys caught it, but he was talking about how the speakers blew out the night he went to see it, and he writes this every time I see the guy who wrote the comic. He always tells him that he is like, yeah, I remember that. So yeah, that's cool. And he says he used to watch every night in the 10th grade. That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, it's good to see you, Decepticons Cave of Toys. And we also have Tony on panel with us. Good to see you. How you doing tonight?
How you doing?
Hey, how's everyone doing? I'm looking forward to talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, easily.
I love this. So I had no idea that so many of you guys were like huge fans of this movie. I would have done it a lot earlier if I had known that.
Yeah,
That's right. It's cool. It's cool that you're doing it now for Halloween month.
Yeah, I think it's kind of perfect.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was just gonna. In my household, it's tradition every October 30th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Devil's Night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Fire it up! Fire
Bring it up! Bring it up!
Hell yeah.
And Soul Assassin asked this, and I actually was thinking this as well. He says, would you all say The City and The Crow was more Gotham than most Batman films?
Yeah.
It definitely had that vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just with like kind of lower buildings, but yeah.
Yep. Even two, like kind of even goes in further.
We're only talking about one tonight.
I know. But two, like the city is like very Gotham-y as well, and then even with like sort of like the Rogues Gallery as well.
I'll say that two did have nice. They had pretty cool visuals.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Didn't see two.
Yeah, I wish I had it, but
I like it.
You know, in the past 24 hours now, I've watched Crow for like the however many times now. I've seen it countless times in my life, but last night I watched Batman Year One for the first time. There are definitely some similarities, but it felt like, at least in this rendition of Batman, like the majority of the problems were coming from the police themselves. You know, compared to here, you've got just some outright incestual Satanists who more or less do what they want. They overpower the police. So,
Yeah.
How was Year One? I don't think I seen it.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
What are those on Max?
Yeah. Jim Gordon's a badass in that one.
Sweet.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've seen that either.
So I didn't see City of Angels, but Soul Assassin says City of Angels needs a director's cut. Film was cut to shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had like some French actor playing the Crow, but it wasn't a different Crow. It wasn't Eric Draven. It was someone.
No,
else.
it's different.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Which I don't like that. Like, what was so special about this movie is that It's not, hey, if you work hard enough and believe you can become a crow too. It was Eric Draven loved Shelley so much, and everything was left just so unjustified. It was just a gaping wound that nobody ever paid for, you know.
Yep.
That he was brought back to life, you know, through this crow to set things right and avenge things and set the other girl Sarah back with her mother, get her mother cleaned up. Like he was on Earth for like a day or two to set things right, and it was special because it, you know, like Homeboy was saying when he was about to go off the pier in his hot rod, like this is the
It's
real,
the really real world.
you know.
There ain't no coming back.
Yeah, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
Like,
I was it in. I think I don't know if it was in someone's chat the other day or somebody said that the Crow is just RoboCop for emo kids.
What?
I forget where I saw that. I don't know if it was in
Hilarious.
someone's comment section or if it was on Twitter. But I thought
That's
that was pretty
great.
funny.
That is funny.
Just the premise of the Crow in general, like, you know, it's usually a tragedy. It's somebody that they really love, and then like because like in the second one, his son is killed, and he is also killed with him or like near him, and yeah, and then he comes back and basically avenges his young son's death, and all that. So that, like, you know, love transcends even death. Like,
so Benoit's the Crow.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Jeez.
Benoit killed his kid.
So he comes back and
No,
just kills himself.
We are not talking wrestling on this channel. No wrestling, no Star Wars. Those are my rules.
I used my character as a wrestler, and I actually came down to the ring to burn, which is the theme to this.
Oh, so the conversation it wouldn't be about
It's all connected.
the complaint with Trina wouldn't be about double murderer Chris Benoit. It would be about professional wrestler Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
He was like, "That's all too gay for me." Sorry. Oh shit.
But yeah, I agree with you guys. Like the premise of the story is really so creative. You know how the whole thing with the Crow bringing someone back, you know, to avenge the wrong, because you know there are some things that transcend death and all that stuff. It's like that is, there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
And
Powerful messaging for sure in there, and
yeah,
and again, it's that getting that justice as well. You know, like Tony was saying, like, you know, they never got it.
yeah.
And he was given the opportunity to, you know, do that, and set things right, which is awesome. Again, really amazing what they did with this, and really crazy too, because Brandon almost didn't do the film. They wanted him to play his father in the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, and he turned it down. He's like, I don't want to mimic my father or try to recreate his life. He goes, yeah, I was given this script, and this script for the Crow was something so powerful, and who's going to tell me how I'm supposed to act? He's like, if you came back from the dead, you think you'd know how you'd act? So he had fun with it. He was able to do what he wanted.
And then, well, first I want to say, hey, Stig, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. And then, like, building on what you just said, it makes it even more tragic what happened to him.
Yeah.
True.
Because
another message too that the movie kind of portrays pretty well is that even though life can be pretty shit at times and bad things can happen, it won't always be that way. Like, there will be a time where, you know, like he says, it can't rain all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Keep the faith.
Yep.
You know, be hopeful about things.
Yeah. that's
Chris needs
true.
to get that message. I'm just saying.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's
number one, I want to say, because you guys had mentioned about how it's a very creative story, but you know, it could have been really easy to mess this up too. And I mean, I think, you know, sorry, Dre, but I think we kind of see that in the sequels between that and between, what Vinny was saying about Brandon Lee choosing this role. This was like, he was meant for this role.
Yep.
I don't think anyone else would have been able to portray it like he did, and we've seen that. But, just filming the movie, the story is one thing, but the camera work on this, the effects for the time, the soundtrack, which, I was 12 years old when this movie came out, and the soundtrack was just it hit me hard for that time in my life. I remember it was one of the first CDs I had was the Crow soundtrack, but the score itself, like, it's everything that came together to make this movie that, it really made it special.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. And Moto Coil says that he went to see this movie in the theater with his brother and dad when it came out. His dad was a huge Bruce Lee fan, and they hadn't felt like that since Kurt Cobain died.
Yeah.
That was huge for us in our childhood.
It was.
And he's been to both Bruce and Brandon's graves. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I have two,
Nice.
Coil. My grandpa lived in Tacoma, Washington. The first time I went up there, we saw Bruce's grave, and one of the last times I went up there, we saw Bruce and Brandon's.
Wow. I would have loved to
Brandon,
go at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But oh shit, that is some crazy stuff. I was a huge fan of the Lee family for such a long time. I had all of his fighting books as well, his father's. Because he had like little ones first. There were like I think 4 of them, like the self-defense ones, and then we got the Tower of Jeet Kune Do. And my brothers and I we were learning how to defend ourselves and fight and everything else too.
Yeah.
Things that you do and things that you should know. You should know how to defend yourself. But it was like the doorway into that. Everyone's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, but that was like the first kind of steps into that world. And watching all the movies and remastering them and putting them out on DVD at the time and all that. And then his son was in a couple of movies prior to that. Rapid Fire was another killer one that Brandon did. Don't know how many people saw that one here. But
I've seen it.
With Powers Booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stop me if you've heard this one. Jesus Christ walks into a hotel and hands the innkeeper 3 nails and says, "Can you put me up for tonight?"
What's good,
What's
Tom?
going on, everybody? Yeah, I'm finally here. I've been on the road. My piggy paws are tired, but there have been new acquisitions tonight, so I can't really complain.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. We were doing first thoughts on the movie, and so how about you, Tommy? Like, what stands out to you about the movie?
Well, number one, there's a whole bunch of things you could say stands out about this one. It has a little bit of everything, and it has a decent backstory, of course, taken from a comic book, which, when they come really close to the original story, that's always going to resonate with people, especially if they're fans of that comic. But then, of course, there's the soundtrack, too. The soundtrack was absolutely phenomenal for this movie. Nobody could tell me that they've listened to the soundtrack and didn't enjoy the shit out of it, because it was absolutely great.
Hell yeah.
And then you've got a host of different characters in there, like David Patrick Kelly again. We just did the Warriors over on Slasher's channel on Saturday. Here we go again with David Patrick Kelly in this movie as well, and he just fits perfectly in that typical scumbag bad guy. So, there's no one thing in particular. I think as a whole, there's so many different parts of this movie that just work so perfectly together. Like everybody who was involved in this movie, they knew what the hell they were doing, because they created a masterpiece. And as far as I'm concerned, this thing is never going to be duplicated. It's never going to be replicated again. Mm-hmm. They could do whatever they're going to do with Bill Skarsgård and their diversity agenda hire crap, but they are never even going to come close to the originality of this one.
I was kind of excited too to see what they did with the new one, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna change the race of this," and I'm like,
"Well, they did more than just one, Draven." I was going through the list of characters. Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of diversity hires in that.
Lovely.
Jesus.
Hello, Zombie Box Reviews. Nice to see you. Hope you're well tonight.
So,
And we are also joined by Pop Cyclops, or we
Hey,
call him. We also
Fire.
call him Adam.
Fire it up. Fire it up.
How's
Yeah,
it
man.
going, Adam?
It's going good. This movie, I swear, was like the first of its kind ever, though. Like it was perfect. It was just done
it really
perfectly.
was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Tony had even said lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
I
Do
think
you
that's.
mind-
What's that?
Sorry. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. Do you mind if I share a little interesting fact? It's kind of personal, but
Not at all.
see, like I was just getting into Bruce Lee a few years before this came out, and I think it was Immortal Coil mentioned it was like Kurt Cobain when Brandon passed. It was like really hard to hear that he passed away filming this movie, but
Yeah.
one reason I was so close to Brandon Lee is because obviously he's 17 years older than I am, but we share a birthday, which is February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting part is the Crow book back in 1989, it debuted on February 1st, which is always,
Oh, that's cool.
it's just weird, like
Yeah.
how it lined up like that for me. So I wanted to throw it because that's one reason, like, I was so into this movie and so into Brandon Lee when I was younger. I mean, you share a birthday with someone, and it's like it was either him or Priscilla Presley, and she's not that impressive to me. So
Nice
Yeah.
beaver.
That is a very cool little personal connection that you got there. That's really interesting.
That is cool.
yeah, it's like the Crow was born on that day, and so was Brandon and I. It just always hit me in the heart, I guess.
Yeah. It's good, like kismet vibes.
Yeah.
No, I'm really thinking, eventually, if I wind up getting another pig, like maybe I'll call one Tintin.
Hell yeah.
That'd be
Get
pretty
him
cool.
some blades.
A brown pig.
A nice leather jacket. Oh shit. Yeah, but I mean, for as amazing as the movie was, and like the people that did pull off like their amazing performances, and the people who were involved in a lot of the visuals, there was such fucking incompetence on that set that
Yeah.
infuriated me. Because years later, when I was getting into the toy world and everything, I met one of the guys, and I did some work for this guy who he was in the art department for the Crow movie, and this guy was a psycho who drove his truck through one of their mold shops.
Wow.
Yeah, that set was plagued with so many weird disasters and stuff,
Yeah.
all before what tragically happened. So I wish there were more professional people behind the scenes working on this film. Again, there was great vision, there were great actors, but the incompetence and people were just completely unprofessional. Who they had working there was insane.
Well, I know the guy who played Fun Boy, because it really hit him hard when Brandon got killed on set. That after this movie, he wound up checking himself in for psychiatric help, and he's never been the same since, and he never worked again since.
Shit.
Yeah, because wasn't he the one that pulled the trigger?
Yes.
Yeah. It's there's a lot to talk about as far as the set goes, like where they filmed it. I think, wasn't it North Carolina?
I think so, or Georgia.
Yeah, so one of those. They're a right to work state, and that's why they filmed it there. It kept costs down, and they really cut a lot of safety corners, and there was
Yeah,
a
it was in North Carolina in Wilmington.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and there was a lot of coke on set, and yeah, there was just so many wrong things, and there was like a hurricane coming through, which is why it was raining all the time, and
Yeah.
it was so cold. Like, yeah, the conditions were awful for the crew and the actors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even the crew, like the the camera guys and all those, they were like put in harm's way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soul Assassin mentions there's so many conspiracies around Brandon's death. I mean, there's, of course, there's going to be, especially when it's something like that happens.
Well, it came down to safety issues. Period. Like I said, the one that I knew who was on set, he got fired, he got kicked out of there. There was a lot of stupid things going on, but the gun safety people were not doing their jobs properly.
And let me tell you, I didn't have anything to do with this one. I didn't hire any of those people, because if I did, nobody would have walked off that set.
Goddamn.
Oh my God, Tommy.
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
It's never too soon when it comes to that douchebag.
You know, this what happened to Brandon on this set is what sparked a lot of the gun safety rules on movie sets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame. It was the end of a dynasty.
I know.
Truly. And he was about to become a massive star.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. That's why you've got a lot of conspiracy theories around his death. Like,
Wasn't it around the family altogether?
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Well, yeah, because Bruce's connections and stuff, and
Yep.
some of like the mobs over there, and there was a lot behind his father's death.
Mhm.
you know,
But yeah, they try to bleed over to the son, but that wasn't the case. It was just like, again, incompetence, stupid people.
Yeah.
There was never supposed to be live ammunition on that set. Someone went to their stupid car, they took out the bullets. Oh yeah, we have extra, because they ran out. And the director wanted that extra big blast from the gun, because it was that kind of pivotal scene where he's supposed to walk in on what was happening to Shelley, and that's when it happened there. But the director, he wanted a bigger flash in the gun, and they had the full cartridge, and so they used the wrong caliber. They had other shots that they did, and it was something that was lodged into the barrel. It was the wrong size. So when they put the extra cartridge in, the full one, it acted like an actual real bullet.
Yeah, it was because what they do is they have like wax on the end of those things,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying that the wax wound up lodging in a certain way with the plastic end of the dummy round, and that's what shot out of it.
But they said there was a piece of metal that was in there,
Yeah.
so they didn't prepare the bullets properly too when they were taking the shells and trying to clean them out and everything.
Yeah, there was absolute incompetence
Yeah.
and mistakes that should have never have happened.
Awful.
But yeah, I'm with Soul Assassin on the first thoughts of the movie. What really appealed to me, was the aesthetics, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, the whole story itself, it really like keeps you in it.
Yeah.
And once again, that goes right back to James O'Barr and everything he did with the comics. I mean, they didn't stray that far from the original canon. There was variations. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like they played it beat for beat right from the comic, but the overall theme and how it flowed was pretty damn close to the damn comic. There wasn't that much of a variation. And I think that's one of the things that they did right in this. They didn't try to tamper with the formula too much.
Yeah. There was something though that was cut out of the movie because Brandon passed away. There was another character who, it wasn't the crow itself. It was like a scarecrow looking character. who they it was like in one of the special like director's cut or something where they tried to put him back in a couple of scenes, but apparently I guess he sort of guides Eric. He doesn't really talk or anything. Like he points from a distance and stuff, and the crow usually flies between the two of them. Like it'll go to that guy.
I wish I could have found my damn book. I know I have it. I just don't know where it is. That's the problem.
This here was what was cut. The skull cowboy, basically.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they kept him mostly in the dark. Like you couldn't really see his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he was supposed to be like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really curious to see like how the rest of this movie would have played out.
I really wish sometimes that they would have followed that formula for all the subsequent movies that they made. I mean, if they would have followed the other novels that James LeBar did in the Crow series, like how much better those movies could have been, like and overall how much better the franchise could have been.
Oh yeah.
All the hate.
I'm sorry, those subsequent movies, they just suck balls.
Yeah.
I like 2, and I didn't mind 3. There's aspects that I can understand why people don't like them. But
Well, some people like piss in a bucket too, Drake. That
There's
doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
There's certain things in each one that I like. Like they expand on his abilities in the movie, the other movies that they kind of hint at in this one, but don't really like delve into it. And the subsequent sequels kind of like go deeper into that, and like as far as like them taking the crow and kind of gaining his powers and stuff, like and being able to control or trick him to thinking that his mission is complete, basically.
I never saw part 2, but I bought the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's delved into more, and then like that chick that's sort of like a witch in the first one, they kind of like
The
expand
Asian
on.
one?
Yeah, the Asian chick.
I like the pretty guy.
They expand on that kind of a bit in the sequel, and then 3 kind of expands on some stuff too. And 4 is just terrible.
So the second movie,
Mm-hmm.
am I right in saying that one is centered around what was her name? Sarah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the narrator again, and there's sort of like a love kind of interest between those two as well. And then the reason he's back is because he's trying to get revenge for his son being brutally murdered. Basically, they were both basically in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing.
Okay, so he had a son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a son, and basically the gang members or whatever, they ended up killing him because they didn't want witnesses. I think they were killing somebody else, and they stumbled upon it, and they didn't want any witnesses, so they ended up killing them.
Okay. All right. Well, Tommy has actually put together an awesome, like, I guess you would call it a montage of the movie, like different scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's awesome. Like it would be a good starting point to talk about certain scenes in the movie. It's a little over 2 minutes long, so I'm going to show it now. It's awesome.
Today's topic is on the 1994 movie based on the James O'Barr comic book series, The Crow.
Why don't you tell me a story?
Starring Brandon Lee as Eric Draven, Rochelle Davis as Sarah, Ernie Hudson as Officer Albrecht, Michael Wincroft as Top Dollar, Bei Ling as Micah, Sophia Sheenis as Shelley, Anna Thompson as Darla, David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird, Angel David as Skank, Lawrence Mason as Tintin, and Michael Macy as Fun Boy. The plot on this one is very straightforward. A man brutally murdered comes back to life 1 year later as an undead avenger of his and his fiance's murder.
You killed them. On Halloween? Yeah, okay. Halloween, yeah. Some dude, some bitch, whatever, man.
Bestowed with the powers of increased strength and the ability to heal from any damage. This avenging angel will not stop until all have been punished.
Victims. Aren't we all?
This movie saw 5 wins and 7 nominations at the awards, if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Jesus Christ.
This movie had a budget estimate of $23 million, a gross US and Canada take of $50 million, and an opening weekend of $11,774,332 in the US and Canada.
But you ain't you. You can't be you. We put you through the window. There ain't no coming back. This is the really real world. There ain't no coming back.
And while this movie did not do exceptionally well at the theaters, it definitely made up for it in the home video release section.
Jesus Christ. Stop me if you heard this one. Jesus Christ walks into a hotel. He hands the innkeeper 3 nails. And he asks, "Can you put me up for the night?"
Guess it's not a good day to be a bad guy, huh, Skank?
What a skank? That skank right there. Skank dead.
That's right. Can't rain all the time.
Eric?
Nice.
That was awesome. Soul Assassin says Tommy might want to look into making montage vids. It might be a good side hustle.
Right? For real.
Come on, do it.
I need a regular, just straight, normal hustle because things are not working out under the current administration.
Yeah, that was awesome. You got most of pretty much all the good scenes, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, like how little this thing made in the box office, though. Like when I was putting that little montage together, and I actually did that one a while ago. I was actually shocked how it didn't make quite as much money as you think it would have. I mean, as beloved as this movie is, you think that the theatrical release would have been killer, and it just wasn't.
I would have thought so. I went to see this opening night, and it was a packed house.
Yeah.
What was it adjusted for inflation?
That I never worry about.
Let me look.
Because I mean, I'm just for what it's worth. You have stuff like IMAX now, where I looked that up. It's like frickin' $30-$40 a ticket in some places.
Jeez.
Like, yeah,
it's a pretty penny.
but also, this was like the younger generation's movie. Like, a lot of kids probably wanted to go see this, and the mom is like, I don't know, they hear what it's about, and then, like you were saying, Tommy, but then when it comes to home video and rentals, and that's where it really got to shine. That's when a lot of people, I didn't get to see it in the theater. I was dying to see this movie.
Wow.
And when it hit like HBO and that, back in the day when you had a subscription through your cable provider.
Yeah. Back then they were a little more strict too about like rated R movies and kids going in.
Yeah.
So it looks.
Plus, we were, our parents were the generation of, well, let's wait for it to come out on tape.
Blockbuster shit. But I remember opening night as well, and I mean that theater was packed and people were crying. I was crazy.
Wow.
Internationally, it did terrible.
So I wonder if that a lot of that has to do with because of a lot like Brandon's death and everything.
The stigma of that being
Yeah.
hanging over the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
because
point.
I know a lot of studios didn't want to even produce it because of that.
Yeah. Well, and they had to use the CGI in a couple of scenes to put him in it.
Yeah, they to superimpose his face on.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
when he's coming into the apartment again, like out of the rain when he just came out of the grave.
Oh,
Like they used the
okay,
scene
so-
from the alley, and then they just kind of like cut him around him and put him into the apartment. Like they had to do a couple of different tricks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So inflation adjusted domestic box office was 130 million for box office. And what did you say the box office was there, Tommy?
Oh, damn, I forget offhand.
50?
11. Oh, opening
Open-
night.
oh,
Opening
yeah.
night, I think he said was 11.
Yeah,
opening night was 11. I think without inflation, it was like 50 million, something like that.
You know, now I'm feeling bad. I feel I might have contributed to the problem because we snuck one of our friends into the fucking theater to see it.
Damn it, Flasher, it's all your fault.
Yep.
Well, when they do box office numbers, do they do adjusted for inflation? I thought they didn't do that.
Older stuff they do. Now they don't.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, isn't there a section?
Yeah, it's more older stuff. Stuff now they don't adjust for inflation because it's the current, you know. But now, 20 years for later, if the inflation goes up like drastically, then probably.
Yeah, so it was 50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 50 million.
So adjusted for inflation, it did 130
Yeah.
million.
Because if they did adjust for inflation, I think it's like Gone with the Wind or The Wizard of Oz or something like that would be the top grossing movie of all time. Like, I'll have to check it. I'll have to see which movie. I know it's one of the older movies, but yeah, it would blow like Avatar and Avengers and everything out of the water.
So it was a sleeper hit, basically.
Yes. I mean, it's not like it did bad. It just didn't do as good as it should have done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's-
Like when Slasher and I were talking about the Warriors on Saturday, we were going over the numbers on that, and we were actually surprised how well the numbers were on that movie. And that's one of those movies I would assume that would have been like a classic hit, later on.
A cult classic,
actually,
yeah.
that actually did well right out of the theater.
That's a good movie too.
So, favorite scene? Who wants to go first?
Mine is probably the makeup scene, and then when he like walks towards the glass thing afterwards with the that's like iconic.
Yeah.
And then the whole scene with the knives with Tintin is really good.
Yeah.
My favorite is definitely the when he's it's just down to Skank, and he walks into the villain boardroom, and then he just fucking starts killing everybody. After the flesh. Yeah, that scene was That scene was what I was like. This is what I came here to see.
That's awesome. Tony, how about your favorite scene?
My favorite scenes of the movie are more of the philosophical scenes when he's talking with Sarah and she's like, "You didn't even say goodbye," and he's like, "You're gonna have to forgive me," and gives her Shelley's necklace. Or probably my favorite part of the movie is when he's talking to Ernie Hudson in his apartment, and he was talking about the things that Shelley would do that he thought were so trivial, the things that would make her happy, but then he's like, nothing's trivial.
Yeah.
When he finds out Ernie Hudson's getting a divorce from his wife, and those are the scenes. Yeah, very well written scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the scene right before he encounters Tintin when he's going from rooftop to rooftop. That's another one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's great.
That's where we get. They keep calling me. One of the fucking. Oh, I love that fucking song.
Tommy, how about you?
I think you know what my favorite scene is. I jumped right in with it.
Fire it up.
No. Jesus walks into a hotel. I love that whole scene with Fun Boy. It cracks me up. I mean, another really good scene is the one with Gideon in the pawn shop.
Yeah,
he's going through all the rings. Each one of these are a life that you took. Like that. That is such a very impactful scene.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
And the way that ends too, with the when he puts the other rings inside the shotgun, and he shoots it at them.
Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, do you have a favorite scene?
I mean, it's kind of hard to pick out a specific one because there are quite a few throughout the entire movie. But I think really I just enjoyed the way it was shot, the entire movie, because there were so many different ways to shoot this movie, and I feel that we got best of the best when they filmed it. Whether it was prior to him becoming the Crow, and then dying, and then getting the vengeance back, like almost every single one of them that he gets back, it's you're like cheering.
Yep.
Because of the entire situation, So yeah, it's really, really hard to pick just one. It's kind of me like it's an all-in-one thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's the movie is amazing. Like it is really just a whole movie of great scene after great scene. I don't think there's any kind of wasted time in it, to be honest.
Nope.
It's just a well done movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. I'm with both Draven and Tony. Those two are my favorite. Like I love when he goes over to the window, and he's almost like reenacting what happened to him. With the flashbacks. And then I like the when he's talking about like when he's in Albrecht's apartment talking about Shelley and how nothing is trivial and stuff. I love those scenes. I thought his relationship to Sarah was really that was really interesting, the way he cared for her, and she really looked up to both him and Shelley. Wait, did I say? I think I got names mixed up, but the way that they looked out for her because her mother was pretty much absent.
Because they were like surrogate mother and father kind of thing, but also he was more like a big brother.
Yes.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, everyone did a fantastic job on it. You could feel it. Everything was very believable on what happened with all those actors and all those scenes and everything. Like there was nothing that was ever like, oh yeah, this is phoned in. No, everything felt so legit and great.
It really did.
There was something in the movie that I wasn't a super big fan of.
What's that?
And that's all the stuff with the Micah and the capturing the Crow and doing this and doing that to take away his back. I don't know if it was just the way it was done, but there was something about it that was like the one portion of the movie that I didn't like all that much. It's such a small segment too, so it's not even really much to gripe about. It's not like it's a big long 15-minute extravaganza going into it, but it's just one part of the movie that just kind of bored me just a little bit.
I'll say there's one actor I didn't like either. It was the chief of police, the guy with the pock face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
the Edward James Olmos wannabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Edward James Olmos, and I don't like the guy at all. He's such a creep.
Yeah, Edward James almost.
You know, all
But-
these movies have to have that dickhead, the dickhead chief of police. Everyone
Yeah.
has to have that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, we were definitely not supposed to like him, so they did a good job with his act. Well, if you think about it, that's really good acting. That we're not supposed to like him and we don't. So
Yeah.
that's on point.
Yeah, so he should have got an Oscar there. 'cause he was a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I tell you what, though, like culturally, this really resonated with a lot of people. I mean, who doesn't remember a Halloween for the first few years after this movie where people weren't dressed up like Eric Draven from The Crow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want my cousin. She had a costume reception for her wedding. I went as the Crow.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I mean, look, Draven still hasn't let it go.
Most impressive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soul Assassin says the main villain, top dollar actor Michael Wincott, should have had a bigger career.
Yeah.
He was really good.
He's in
Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver.
No, that's not Terry. That's not Terry Silver.
I know.
he's in that Nope movie.
Nope.
Yeah, the newer movie, the newer horror movie with the weird balloon UFO thing in the sky that eats like.
Is
humans.
it with a black family?
Yeah,
I don't think I saw that one.
yeah. He's like like he's searching for UFOs and like he's like one of the top guys and he comes in and helps them track the thing down and try to capture it and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah. Did anybody go on to have a big career from this movie? That was in this movie?
They were mostly character actors. I mean,
yeah, Ernie Hudson's career basically stayed exactly the same as it was from this.
Yeah. David Patrick Kelly was always a jackass in every movie before and after this. So
He's another one who basically stayed the same before and after this.
yeah, he's done a lot of TV stuff though too. The T-Bird dude. Because I remember seeing him on a bunch of like episodes of like Law and Order or those type of shows. He was on a couple of them.
Yeah, I really liked the beat cop Albrecht.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was an awesome character.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did she say? She said, "Was it onions? Onions make me fart."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, make you fart big time.
Yeah, he was definitely like channeling his inner Reginald Val Johnson for that role.
Oh, man. Ernie's a cool dude though. I've seen him a couple of times at conventions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's great with fans. He'll come around the table. He'll chat with everybody.
That's cool.
Yeah, very personable.
I love
Seems
that.
like a nice guy.
Yeah, NECA, when you going to make a Eric Draven figure?
They have in the past. They need to do an Ultimate Edition for sure.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
like what they finally did with that Miner when they finally released that Ultimate. And holy shit, yeah.
I
I'm
was very
impressed.
tempted.
I
saw
am
him
impressed.
twice now.
I'm impressed, Vinny. I got 2 NECA figures, and
Yeah.
both of them I'm impressed with that I'll be showing off tomorrow.
Nice.
I was like sitting there like Vader. I was like impressive, most impressive.
I was going to, but I'm like, do I eat today or do I get a toy? I want to eat.
Hey man, eating is for quitters.
Yeah,
Consider me a quitter.
I could turn you into a vampire and you'll have no problem. You can just,
Yeah. I mean,
buy all the toys you want and not have to really
send me the
worry
direction
about
of those
eating.
AEW chicks.
Right.
Soul Assassin says he thinks Diamond Select made a real good Crow figure.
Yeah. The face is a little off to me though. I'm not crazy about the likeness on it.
I thought the McFarlane one looked okay.
That McFarlane one broke 6 times.
Wow.
It shattered into a million pieces because of the wax that they were using. So every time they got it out of the mold and they were putting extra detail on it, it was one of the processes that they had because he had no proper balance and they were trying to figure out how to keep him like upright. Yeah, or he just slipped out of the sculptor's hands, like I think twice. Yeah, that was a nightmare figure for those guys. I talked to the guy who sculpted it. He was like, yeah, because it's a shame because he wanted to do even more. And a couple of times, like I think he said it was the third time he did it. That was the most happy he was with it. But yeah, it broke a couple more times.
So, what do you guys think about the 2024 remake?
Not going to see it.
I could sum it up in 2 words, or no, 3 words. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I was excited until I seen their race swapping and all that stuff. So
until I seen diversity and inclusion, same way. David.
Yep. I'm not gonna see it in theaters, but if it goes to like streaming and something that I have,
but there's no trailer or nothing either, right?
Yeah, there's no trailer or anything yet either, so I don't even know how that is.
Like, and I enjoy both movies, but The Crow means a little more to me than Joker. But it's like there are certain movies that need to just be left alone, and I feel the same way about Crow getting sequels that I do about Joker getting sequels, which it shouldn't happen. I know you enjoyed some of the sequels, right? But I know that there was a whole book series, but for the film, it was fine as is, but a remake of the original, it just, to me, I know Hollywood has no scruples or morals, but it feels kind of disrespectful, because what's the point of a remake other than, well, we can do this better?
It's pathetically small-minded, really, by them, and you know that they absolutely have no kind of ingenuity or creativity at this point. I mean, just imagine you're talking about like this film. I mean, this film, like seeing this redone, is a travesty in of itself. And you start thinking about some of those older movies that we grew up with that are like classics, man. Like they should never be touched. Could you imagine them remaking the original National Lampoon's European Vacation without Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo? Can you imagine that? I can't.
Yeah. I can imagine Thor would be in it.
I mean, like some things need to be left where they are, and I feel like this is one of them. I mean, I think they floated a remake idea maybe years ago, and then it was shot down because they felt that it would be disrespectful.
Yeah, it was actually they were going to put Jason Momoa as the Crow, and both him and the director didn't like the direction that the studio wanted to take, because they were going to reshoot it almost scene by scene right from the original, but obviously with new special effects and everything like that, updated special effects, but they were basically going to redo the original movie, and that was pretty much the extent of what they wanted to do. But the studio said, no, we're going to do this and we're going to change that, and then both the director and Momoa stepped off and said, no, I'm not doing that.
I cannot see Momoa as the Crow.
Yeah.
Come on.
There was some fan art that looked pretty good with him as the Crow, honestly.
But his personality, he's like the same dude in every, like he stood out like a sore thumb in Dune. Like,
yeah. He will always, to me, be, oh God, now I forget the name.
Roman Reigns.
Game of Thrones. Khal Drogo, yeah, he will always be Khal Drogo to me, and it's funny because the first time I saw him was on Stargate Atlantis, and he's been the same character for all of his career.
Yeah. See, the first thing I ever seen him in was a show on Netflix called Frontier, and that's what I automatically remember him.
Yeah,
as the Crow.
See, it's a good look. I just don't see him in that role. You know, like it's like him being Aquaman. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. He's pretty good as the villain in I know everybody hates the Fast movies, but he plays a really damn good villain in the new Fast movie.
He should have played Lobo. I'd
Yeah.
say he'd be
That
perfect
too,
for
yeah.
Lobo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
And it couldn't have been as bad as Eric Furlong as the Crow. That was so bad.
You know, I think, that's the only other Crow movie I saw, and I saw it like hungover on the couch because I was too lazy to change the fucking channel, and I was like, "What the fuck is it? What?" I was like, I saw it come on, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "What the hell did this happen?"
So my thing with the sequels, there's aspects that I like in 3, he gets basically his girlfriend gets killed and he gets framed for the murder and he gets put on death row and executed. And when he gets executed, then he comes back and, you know, tries to find out who killed his girlfriend. But the way the face paint is done in that is the mask, the death mask that they put on you when they electrocute you, basically scabbed over his face. And when he pulls all the scabs and stuff off of him, he has the basically the makeup are scars on his face, which I think is cool.
Oh, that's kind of grotesque.
Yeah.
Speaking of mask, did you know that? Well, I'm sure you guys knew, but it reminds me that when Brandon was passed away on set, they were gonna use a mask for an actor, have him put a mask on, and everybody was really uncomfortable with that, like a mask to look like Brandon Lee, but everybody was like they were way too uncomfortable with that, and so they decided
basically like a death mask cast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing. Yeah, and
I felt it was disrespectful.
yeah, they were way too creeped out by it, so they didn't want to do it. So that's how they ended up doing it digitally.
Yeah. That's why they cut out that whole. What the hell am I?
This is him from the Crow from the 3rd movie.
Good
That
God.
is
See how they're like scars?
disgusting.
Oh, I see Kirsten Dunst's boobies in the background.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst is in it too. He's fucking
Pete
annoying. in the movie.
Davidson.
Who is
It's
this?
it's the guy
Joker?
it's the guy who played the Nemesis before he transformed in the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, that guy.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Casting.
I don't know about this.
Oh my
And then,
God! This is We Have the Crow at Home.
Not Kevin Bacon, but his buddy in Tremors.
Got a
is
bad
the
feeling
villain-
about this.
Is the villain in it?
See, to me, this has given me Riddler vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving
It's the duck lips. That's what's doing it.
it gives me Jared Leto Joker vibes.
This gives me Halloween costume catalog vibes. That's what it
Yeah.
We have a crow. No, Mom, can we get the crow movie?
We have a Crow at home, Mom.
Frankie's
And
coming
this
in.
is too.
Frankie's coming in with his joke, with his movie pitch, The Pigeon. A wise guy gets whacked for owing money. He comes back for revenge and winnings with a pigeon that sees everyone's poker hand. Oh my
Are you
God.
kidding me, Bird? That's what he's got in his hands?
Well, it's got to be played by Danny DeVito.
Squibs, nice to see you.
At least it's not this. I'll show you. Edward Furlong is the Crow.
I say you're wrong, Vinny. This is where we bring back Dice.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. No, make Dice the villain.
It's a comedy movie now.
Is that a fucking bird on your shoulder?
It is this shit like all down his
Jesus.
back.
Yeah, at least,
Fallout Boy.
at least it's not Edward Furlong Crow.
Oh my God, get that off the screen.
Look how terrible this is.
Why
That's
does
what
he?
I mean.
See, I thought it was Perusa Balk from.
That's what I
Yeah.
That's what I
Disrespectful,
Yeah, it's
man.
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
it's all
the only good thing about it is David Boreanaz says he's the villain in it.
I still
And he
don't
just
know where
threw
you
Los
got
Angeles.
a picture. I still don't know where you got a picture of Jens when he still had hair and he had makeup on.
Huh. Look at Jens isn't here to defend himself.
He wouldn't be able to even if he was here. But moving on.
That's why I'm surprised they're doing like a remake and not just like a new Crow movie, because the series lends it, like even the comic series lends itself to like having other people be the Crow. Like
they should be re-releasing the original for the 30th anniversary in theaters. That's what they
That'd
should
be cool.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they did the same thing. And oh, God, I got so pissed off when I couldn't get tickets for it. They had re-released the 1986 Transformers the movie in theaters. They had brought it back, and it was limited because it was only one day. And if you didn't jump on and get those tickets the minute that they dropped them online, you weren't getting it, and I wasn't getting them.
Well, it does make a difference. Like during the pandemic, when they were, re-releasing a bunch of old movies. I hadn't seen Jurassic Park in theaters since, it was a new movie when it first came out. And that's my wife's favorite franchise is Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 10 years older than her. So she didn't see the first one in theaters. That's all I'll say. So
as soon as you said that I'm 10 years older, I thought you were going to go into that's why she likes you so much.
Well, that too. No, but I took her to see it in theaters, and I mean, it's a completely different experience. Like the part with the T-Rex and the rippling water and everything, you just don't get that experience at home, So to see that original Transformers movie, or a lot of these movies, you may kind of forget about the experience once you've seen a movie so many times at home. I wish they'd release more stuff, like re-release more stuff more often. Because
you know what, and they can go and dip into catalog movies that never even got a theatrical release that have since become cult classics. Like you're talking about just in the animated area, you're talking about that original G.I. Joe the movie. Never released in theaters, was only released, the home video. That would be a perfect example of bringing that back to the big screen, or bringing it to the big screen for the first time, and then give the original ending and really shock the shit at everybody that goes to see it that hasn't seen that original.
That'd be smart.
I mean, why not? It's minimal loss as far as money. It's not like you're producing a new movie, and we're in that nostalgia era where adults who were kids when all this came out would love to go see this stuff. I mean,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a question for you guys, real quick. I'm sorry, Trina.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Instead of doing like a damn another live action remake, how would you guys feel if they did a remake of The Crow, but they did it more geared towards James L. Barr, and it was like an animated movie?
I'd be right with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with animated.
Yeah, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little more classy.
Yep.
Yeah, because speaking of like anniversary movie releases and stuff like that, that's what Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi did for the first Evil Dead movie. They re-released it in theaters for, I think it was the 40th?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was the 40th. It was just recently. Mm-hmm. And so seeing that in the theater again, that was the first time I ever got to see it in the theater. So that was awesome. So yeah, doing that instead of making a brand new movie, I think I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I think it was wasn't it during the lockdowns or whatever, when they just started opening up things again?
Yeah,
they did it like mostly in the drive-ins and those type of settings. They tried in a couple of small areas like that first.
I was hoping that drive-ins would make a comeback because of COVID, but they didn't.
Yeah,
ours
that would have
never
been beautiful.
Ours never closed down, luckily. So
So you still have a drive-in close to you?
The same drive-in that I Yeah, the same. I saw the original Ninja Turtles movie at that drive-in. The
Well,
Lion
goddamn-
King, Hocus
goddamn
Pocus.
God damn, man. If I ever come out to visit you, Tony, you're going to take me to BattleBots. You're going to take me to the drive-in theater. We're going to have
Hell
date
yeah.
night for a couple days.
Oh yeah.
I seen Ninja Turtles, the original movie. That was my first drive-in movie ever.
That's sweet, dude.
That's awesome.
And then
Awesome.
my first theater movie was Ace Ventura.
Oh,
My
nice.
grandparents took me to see it. I was a kid.
I don't remember my first drive-in movie, but they used to do double features back then. So it's like I remember like
Mhm.
when we went to see Hocus Pocus, it was Hocus Pocus and then Son-in-Law. And then Lion King was that and Blank Check. And then yeah, those were
Oh, I
good
remember
times
Blank
because
Check.
you could make a night out of it. You
Yeah.
bring the blanket, lay it out, kids are playing. Just yeah, good
Yeah.
memories. The
There's usually
driving.
like a movie for the kids first, or and then a movie for the adults. Like second.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they would play the main feature, then they would play some cartoons in between.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then they would play the main movie, and then sometimes they might even play some cartoons at the end after the second movie. And I know there was
Oh,
a few of
yeah.
those drive-ins that I went to. They had dual screens, so they had one screen
yeah.
on one side, and then they had a screen all the way on the other side. And if you were sitting in the right position, you would be able to sit like, because I used to
Yeah.
sit on the roof with a damn blanket. So I would sit there, I would watch the one in front of me, turn around, and watch the other one behind me. So I'd get to see 4 movies that night.
That's awesome.
The sorry, I don't mean to keep veering off track, but like just for what it's worth, some of the newer movies I've seen the drive-in was like The Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, but my wife and I went for the original Amazing Spider-Man. And it came out on July 4th, so we got to sit there and watch the movie, and all around us, like it didn't detract from the movie at all because it comes through on your car radio now.
Mhm.
But there were
Mhm.
just fireworks like all around while we watched the movie. It was nice.
That's
It was
awesome.
really
That's
nice.
awesome.
That sounds
You know.
great.
Yeah, oh man, I was little the last time I was at a drive-in, and it was with my brothers, and we went in a truck, and I was sitting on the top of the cab part, like you know what you know where I'm talking about? And so I was like way up top, and I could see like the whole thing unobstructed. It was awesome.
Oh, sweet.
That was, oh man, they was so fun. They was so fun. I really wish. What happened? Why did they go out of style?
I don't know.
Because humans suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tony's right.
Because a lot of
Yep.
people complain because
Because-
you're kind of out in the elements and you don't have air conditioning and it's dirty. The typical shit that you would get from people
That's
nowadays.
stupid. Because they really, it's such a, because it's more intimate. Like you're that, like me and my wife could just kick back. We wouldn't have to worry about some hairy dude coming and sitting next to us and breathing out of his mouth.
Or
and we-
Yeah.
the kid kicking your seat, because if the kid is kicking your seat, it's your kid, and they're going to get duct taped and thrown in the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they bring screaming children to theaters, that's like my last
Dude.
straw.
You could make
Yeah.
out in the car too
Mhm.
if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had bad kids, you just take them out to the playground with the swings, because almost every single one of them have. You just chain them to the swing, and then you go back and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back then you didn't have to worry about people kidnapping your kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
You
Crazy
could just
stuff.
you could just
Kids-
like leave your toddlers at home and they'd be
Kids
all
were
right.
smarter too, not to talk to strangers back then.
That's so true. We really were smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like we had to
Stranger.
grow up.
Well, I think the phones made people a lot more retarded.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
people aren't paying attention. They're like brainwashed by these things. They also eat up most of the day. Back then, I mean, we were doing everything. We were running around outside, having fun, causing trouble. But at the end of the day, it's like family stuff. And I don't know. This whole world is just everyone's like secluded. It's like you
It's
grab your phone.
easy way to describe it is situational awareness, because nobody has it nowadays that have grown up in this newer
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've always been really bad with that too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just always been a weakness of mine.
Yeah.
But
So, well, I was going to say something about this movie.
Is it 'cause you always gotta
this
look up?
movie, and then there was another movie. They actually created a little bit of a re-fashion trend.
Oh.
So, The Breakfast Club started it with Bender, where he had those paratrooper style boots.
Mhm.
And when the Crow came back out, paratrooper boots became in fashion again. And I remember every one of these Army and Navy type places, every last one of them started carrying those damn things again, and they were selling out like crazy.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, like it's amazing the amount of effect that these type of movies had on people, like seeing those characters on the screen that would actually change to a small degree fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I'm so sorry.
no, Tony, it's okay. It's okay. I was just gonna say real quick, it's because not because we saw the goth fashion kind of go away for a while, and then it came back after this movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the importance of culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if a movie can have an effect on what people wear, it can absolutely have an effect on how people think and behave.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, this was an awesome movie. I'm so glad that we got to review it. And I had, like I said, I had no idea that so many of you were like big fans of this. I would have, like I said, I would have done it earlier.
Yeah, it like connected with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Real quick, there is one other thing I want to talk about this movie, and I think a lot of people overlook it. And then we always talk about it with a lot of the early cartoons, and I don't care if it's He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe. They always had this messaging involved in it, and this movie actually had it too. Now, even though this movie was extremely dark, there was messaging in it, like about treating people right, about taking the time to really, pay attention to the loved ones around you or people that are in need, because you see this throughout the movie with Officer Albright and with Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
So you see it throughout the movie, and Albright and his own problems within his own household and what he says to him. And, it's all those little things that matter, and that there's messaging in this movie that is absolutely spectacular for people. And it's not just a dark, gritty movie about a guy who gets revenge. It's like everything else that was there that makes him want revenge because of what he lost and what is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it, Tommy. Like there is so much to this movie. Why I think it's like one of the best written movies, like in horror genre that I've seen, because it talks about how important life is. It talks about having a positive outlook. It talks about how, like he literally says, nothing is trivial. It talks about be a better parent and all that stuff. I mean, it has all the good stuff in it, and all that wrapped up in a goth movie. Like, that's one of a kind.
Yeah, and those powerful scenes that he had with those other characters and stuff too. Like T-Bird, that's one of my other favorite scenes in the movie, when he's got him like duct taped to the car, and it's like when he finally realizes who he is, and then he starts saying that passage over and over because he knows his death is coming now. I mean, that's some amazing stuff what they did. And like again, he's also trying to repent at the same time. It's like far too late.
Yeah, right.
He's going to be,
like, the death of Brandon Lee added a lot of weight to these scenes too, and again, Sarah's like, you left without saying goodbye, and it's so simple, but it's true. It's just, well, you're just gonna have to forgive me.
Yeah.
Or nothing is trivial, or all these scenes, they carried so much more weight because it was like Brandon Lee was speaking to us from the other side, and to have that be his final role, it was it's a tragedy that we lost him, but you couldn't ask for a better final role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely
Very,
agree.
very powerful. I even like the last shot of the movie and stuff too. What they have with them, that tribute that they did. You could see that moment when he was kind of like he turns around and he's laughing in the rain. And they do like that slow mo on him. You guys remember?
Oh, and the kids in the Halloween costumes running by him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they had some really great stuff there, but and then when he sees it's like him and Shelly, when she comes to him as he crawls back to the tombstone, she's kind of like finally there, and almost like she's like grateful and thanking him, essentially. Like, I don't know, they did so many great things in there. He got his vengeance on all of them too.
I got a question. Does anyone here have a particular favorite song from the soundtrack?
Probably the
I like the Stone Temple Pilot one.
Big Empty?
Yeah.
Great, yeah. Big Empty's awesome song. What did you say, Draven?
The Burn by The Cure.
Oh, the Cure one?
Yep.
See, they also didn't the Stone Temple Pilot one. You only faintly hear it when T-Bird and his gang are driving around. You don't really get to hear that song too much in the movie. And I remember when the movie came out, that was the first song they were playing all the time on the radio from the soundtrack.
Dude, they still play it like crazy by me.
It's a great friggin' song, man. Yeah. I love that song.
The Stone Temple Pilots one, you're saying?
Yeah, Big Empty.
Like I was just coming of it. Again, I was 12 years old. I was just getting into music, and I mean that's what they would play during the trailers for The Crow on TV, and like, dude, great
Powerful
song.
Stuff. Sucks too with that guy too, the lead singer.
Yeah, he was another fucking waste. It was a huge waste of talent, that guy.
Yeah, these people who just can't get themselves off for drugs. I mean,
he ruined 2 bands.
Yeah,
he didn't just ruin Stone Temple Pilots. Remember, he had a band with fucking Slash. Yeah, Slash.
I can't think of the
sad
name.
reality.
Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
The sad reality is with musicians. I mean, when they do clean up, their music isn't the same.
I know.
Oh, that's another awesome one. Pantera's The Badge. Yeah, see, for all the emo stuff going on, they had quite a few bands on this soundtrack that were not emo at all. They had Pantera, they had Rage Against the Machine, they had freaking Helmet.
Ton of great stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, the one I liked the most was the Golgotha Tenement Blues.
Which one is that?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly an instrumental for the most part.
Yeah. That's always good stuff.
I don't know what song it is, but it's when we see him on the rooftop.
9 Inch Nails.
Okay, that one. Yeah, I like that one.
They Keep Calling Me.
That's the one? Okay, yeah, I like that one.
Dead Souls. Dead Souls by 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, I like that one. But the whole soundtrack is amazing.
It is.
And Soul Assassin put a link in to the chat for the soundtrack on YouTube.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks, Soul Assassin. He always comes up with these awesome links.
I know I still have it somewhere. Soundtrack.
Yeah, same here.
I have the 1 and 2 soundtrack. Like I was saying, I didn't see 2, but I got the soundtrack because I heard the songs off. I was like, oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
It's not as good. It's not as good as the first one, but
I think I have it burned on a CD.
Yeah, I remember when City of Angels came out, and again, I was younger, more naive, and it's like back then you see a movie and you're like, oh my god, I wonder if they're gonna make a part 2, And for a reference of how long ago this was, we rented Crow City of Angels on Laserdisc because my buddy had a Laserdisc player that we watched Judgment Night on 100 million times.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie.
Spectacular soundtrack.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We watched Crow City of Angels once, and I was just like, offended. I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? And that was the only time I ever watched a Crow sequel. I never saw any of the other ones. I think I saw Eddie Furlong was in one of them, like Draven was showing, and I was just like, oh my God. But it's like, can we just make Kickboxer 12 or something? Do we have to desecrate the Crow?
Yeah.
One scene I forgot to mention that I really liked was when Eric kills Top Dollar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
3 hours of pain all at once.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was amazing.
Yeah. That that he got from the cop. That was amazing. Yeah, that whole scene was incredible.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird because that kind of played a little bit into what many of us might have remembered with the second iteration. Well, technically, I guess that's technically the third iteration, the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, where he was able to give all the pain back to him with his
penance stare.
Yeah.
It's all right though. It worked for this.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny, like a little bit nitpicky, but the movie is The Crow, and it's all about the crow bringing him back and stuff like that. But the bird that's flying around with him is a raven.
Because it's bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this Draven?
This is from City of Angels because he has the duster in City of Angels and a motorcycle.
Who's the guy who plays him in City of Angels?
A French guy, Vincent something.
Yeah, it's Vincent. I have it here. Give me a second.
I think you only
He's French? No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. There was some good visuals here and there in that movie from what I
Vincent
remember.
Perez.
other than
Ash
that-
Corbin is the character's name.
Does he bring baguettes with him?
He's like, it can't rain all the time. Ha ha. Like,
Oh,
Let me get baguette out of my butt.
He's not a vigilante. He's a mime.
Thomas Jane is in the sequel. Iggy Pop is in the sequel.
Oh my god.
Trini from the Power Rangers is in the sequel.
Oh yeah.
I saw Soul Assassin said Deftones were in it too. I didn't know Deftones were ever in a fucking movie.
Oh.
Thai Trang, I forgot she played one of the villains, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She paid Callie.
Yeah,
Rest
watched
in
this movie
peace,
out.
Yellow Ranger.
And then Richard Brooks was Judah. He was the villain. And him and his witch lady were trying to steal the crow.
I think the Deftones might be a reference to the Judgment Night soundtrack.
No,
Slash-
Deftones was on the City of Angels soundtrack.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Judgment Night soundtrack, Deftones wasn't on it. I don't even
that's
think
right.
I don't
No,
even
yeah.
their first album wasn't even out by the time the Judgment Night soundtrack came out.
Yeah.
As a former DJ / manager at a strip club, the Deftones make really good strip club music.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw
what's
that
a good
out there.
Deftones stripper song? My Own Summer? Is that a good one?
Maybe not that one, but it's been a while since I listened to the Deftones. But this girl, Shelly, it's funny, she was Venezuelan, but she was like obsessed. She's like, can you please play the Deftones for me? Like, what song would I play for her? It was real slow. Like if I listened to it in my car, I wouldn't think so. But, seeing a 22-year-old Venezuelan dance around to it, it was real
I've seen
slow.
Deftones live twice. They're
Yeah.
damn good live.
That's awesome.
Don't you got any footage of that? I'm just.
You know what is funny is we had a whole security system, a camera system set up.
Mhm.
And it was connected to the internet because the owner would want to check in from his phone or, back before smartphones were as prevalent, he had a computer at his house to check in. But yeah, they found malware in it and someone was streaming it to a paid website.
Oh, jeez.
They had been spying on us for a year and no one knew it. Wonderful.
The owner liked to get a little handy.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
Oh shit!
It's handsy.
Not for him, it wasn't.
Okay, so do you guys have any more thoughts on the movie?
Tony Todd was good in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, and it was neat how what's her name's mom? She was doing like I guess drugs or whatever, and he like
Oh, he gave her like an intervention basically.
yeah, and he like
Yeah, he drew it out of her.
yeah he drew it out of her, which was
Morphine is bad for you.
Yep.
That's actually one thing I wanted to mention. He was able to heal Darla of her, drug addiction and whatnot. But how come he wasn't able to heal Albrecht?
Well, he was wounded at the time, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that had something to do with it.
Oh, I think it was. Was that physical wound?
He lost the
Yeah.
the powers at that point though.
Yeah, he didn't have his crow powers.
Are you sure?
Because
Well, remember they kept shooting him and he was not healing.
Yeah, because
wasn't that right around that?
Yeah, the bird was half dead. And
No, the bird was alive at this point.
Yeah,
This
the bird.
was-
The bird.
No, it
pecked
never
out,
died, but he had gotten injured. The bird got injured already. That's why, because Draven was weak and he didn't realize he knew what was going on. That's why he when he used his own body.
Well,
there.
wasn't there the scene also where Albright turns to him and says, "Yeah, no, do your thing, man, do your thing," and he's like, "I can't anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah, because the last person that was because basically this is where they were kind of like tricked him because he didn't realize that the main villain was like part of it. So like when the last person that he knew had knowledge of that killed his fiance was dead, that's when you basically lose your powers because your mission is over. But then once you find out and then like you have to like believe again, I guess, or something. They don't really go into much detail on it, but you can gain those powers back. And he kind of does towards the end when he's fighting the guy, and that's kind of how he wins. But so that's probably why he could not heal him at that point because he had already killed the last guy, and when he was going up there, he was already like kind of wounded and stuff from all the gunshot wounds and stuff.
Yeah. He was operating on fumes.
What a wonderful movie. One of the few times Hollywood got it right, and it's surprising, like, considering what Vinny was talking about, the incompetence backstage, but what they got in front of the camera, I couldn't ask. And I know they weren't finished with everything when Brandon passed away, but still, I couldn't ask for a better movie exactly how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what a movie for that to call friggin' Brandon Lee's last movie too. Yeah.
Just a shame it had to be his last. The way-
I mean, if he hadn't died in this movie, would this movie mean as much as it does?
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's still
not,
a great movie, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd still be in people's like collections, like it's like definitely. Oh yeah, you gotta have this. This was too good, But again, what direction were they going to go in as well? Because there were other elements that they had to cut from the film. So I'm curious what would have happened.
That is an interesting question. Like, would The Dark Knight have mattered as much to people if Heath Ledger didn't die?
He definitely would not have won a fucking Oscar if he didn't die.
Yeah, that would have went to
That's
Robert
true.
Downey Jr.
Yeah.
For Tropic Thunder. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone thought he was going to get it. And, it ended up going to Heath.
I also wonder if he wouldn't have passed away, how the sequels would have been as well, if they'd have done those sequels.
they were they were gonna delve into his back, like they teased it throughout The Dark Knight, like how I got these scars, but they were gonna delve into the Joker's past. That's why they kept him alive. But when he did die, Nolan had to go with Plan B for The Dark Knight Rises, which is kind of apparent. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's why Nolan he took so long too. He wasn't even going to do another Batman movie, because he said, yeah, Joker was the main part of that movie of Rises. So they had to rewrite the entire script to figure out what they were going to do.
That one with Bane was just horrible. Here, I got something else I'm going to show real quick. So, I mean, this movie, I talk about how impactful this movie is, and one of the things is at the time when this movie first came out, there was obviously no kind of collectibles that you could get at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't exist at that point, and nobody was really doing them. So,
I forgot about this.
I actually created something for my brother because he was another one. He was a huge Crow fan as well. So, let's take a look.
And today we have the mighty Rorschach. Rorschach is with us today as we are getting ready to delve in to a few of the merchandise items that were part of the Crow franchise. Of course, the books, we're going to have a little discussion about the one that I do have and a toy that was damn sure not off the racks. So when the movie first came out, of course, there were no toys available. So I had actually created this one for my brother, who was a huge Crow fan. I took a few different G.I. Joes, did a little bit of painting and a little bit of part swapping out from a few different ones, created a blister pack the best I could for it so it had some kind of display, painted it up with the Crow and put Brandon Lee on it, and made this Eric Draven figure. Threw a few weapons in there that I could find, and I called it a day. I still think that this one is actually a fun little piece to still have after all these years, and it shows what you can do with just a little bit of creativity. And of course, it just wouldn't be a Crow discussion without discussing James O'Barr's The Crow series. Now, unfortunately, I can't find the first Crow book that came out. I do have Flesh and Blood. I forget which one this was. I can't remember if this was the second novel or the third novel. Either way, this one is actually really cool. I enjoyed the hell out of this one. It actually has a female protagonist, but that never happened. Glass ceiling. Yeah, get out of here. But this was a very interesting story. It was so good that the band I was in decided to do a song called Dead Time based on this comic. We actually took a few excerpts out of the comic book itself and put it into the song. And you could hear just a little bit of that song on the outro that I use on the end of every single one of my videos.
Dude, that was so
Yeah, that was awesome.
Nice.
Nicely done, man. Your brother must have loved that.
Oh yeah, it was still there and still sitting in the original blister pack that I made for him. I know I was working with the best that I had at the time, but I thought it looked okay for what I did.
It does.
Oh,
It looks awesome.
I'll tell you what, the paint on that held up better than a traditional old school G.I. Joe. I'm just saying.
It's like now you could just take a Sting figure and give him a facelift.
That's one of the reasons why I like Sting too.
Yeah.
I felt when I first saw this thing like that, I was like, this is totally disrespectful. That was my first thing when I saw it. I was like, that's why I leaned more towards WWF at the time.
Yeah. I mean, and then he did it to Heath Ledger with Joker, right? Maybe it is a little disrespectful.
Yeah. She.
I like his Joker thing too.
He did do a good job though.
Well, this was awesome, guys. And Soul Assassin is saying after party is at ETEP's. And that actually reminds me that ETEP and I did a Phantasm franchise review, and he's got the video up of it. It was a really fun conversation about the Phantasm movies. So definitely go check that out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for being here. This was a lot of fun to do. I'm glad we did this.
It was a blast.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go around the horn and tell everybody what you got going on. Let's see. We'll start with Slasher.
Yeah, Saturday we're gonna watch and then do a review of Trick or Treat. I have to keep saying or treat, not our treat. 1986. Yeah, that's me. Thanks for letting me chill.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I love talking about this movie in particular. It's one of my favorites. I think I'd say this cracks my top 5 of all-time favorite movies.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, this was awesome. Vinny, tell everybody what you got going on.
Yeah, I think we'll be doing ETEP tonight. Draven, we're doing wrestling after, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, so that's where I'll be tonight for those. Tomorrow night we'll be on Tommy's having a blast, talking about toys and stuff. I gotta shoot something. I haven't had a chance yet. Been a hectic, crazy day.
Do you need some ammo?
Yeah,
I've been up way too early today. Yeah, but yeah, send me some ammo. I want to shoot things. But yeah, and then Friday is gonna be Friday Underground. And yeah, we'll hit some topics. You know, sometimes they're cool and fun. Other times we get a little bit into the spicy stuff. That's why we usually split it between YouTube and Rumble. And I am monetized again, so people, if you want to help out in any way, shape, or form, please, I urge you to do that. And I am working on some awesome projects. Later this month, I should be launching the Volume 3 art book, so keep an eye out for that. I'm just starting to finish up the cover, and then I'm going to put everything together. So yeah, it'll be a good time. But yeah, thank you so much, Trina. Again, like Slasher said too, yeah, this movie's been like on my top 5 as well since it came out. One of those movies I always go back to. When it first came out, I was watching it all the time. So yeah, amazing stuff. And yeah, rest in peace, Brandon. Yeah, send nothing but love out to everybody. Thank you so much. Tonight was great.
Yes, I'm glad you could be here. Tommy, tell everybody what you got going on.
It's just a shame that your guinea pig had to be a homicidal maniac like Jack Frost.
Again, you know what's going on? Me and a whole bunch of new toys. I have just went and I wasted a whole bunch of money today to buy more stuff for me. Damn it. I got some really interesting pieces today. A couple pieces that I didn't even know were out in some of these other stores. So I was kind of like a little bit thrown aback by that because I really wasn't planning on wasting any money on myself right now. But yeah, I wound up doing it anyway. So there's that. So I'm going to have a lot of fun tomorrow and talking about some of these toys. I'm not going to be able to shoot all of them because I just picked some up, but we're going to have some fun talking about some of the other ones that I picked up the day before and some really nice pieces. Like, holy crap, Matt, like really impressed with some of the work that NECA has done and really impressed with some of the ones that I just picked up, just taking a look at them. Whether or not that's going to remain the same once I get them out of the box is a whole different story. And I hopefully will be shooting another toy tomorrow, like legitimately shooting another toy tomorrow. So we'll see how that works out as well. Guys, stop by, have a little bit of fun. Be sure to stop by for Vinny's on Friday as well and for Slashers on Saturday when we do that movie review. And, of course, as always, if you're not subscribed here, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit that damn button and subscribe. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I hope you have a good one.
Awesome.
No, I removed myself. Damn you.
There we go.
Yeah, you removed yourself, all right.
All right, Adam, since you have been having some connection issues, we're going to have you go next.
So, yeah, no, I'm in the house now. I'm sorry. I was doing yard work and, you know, it was kind of a pretty sight. So I was like, well, I'll try to talk when I can and when the Wi-Fi wants to work. But, you know, yeah, it's a great movie. And, you know, it's the first of its kind for the time frame, you know. It's definitely in the top 5, and it's definitely in the top 10 when it comes to like October films that you want to watch yearly, you know. So yeah, I think you know, it definitely should have made more. It's too bad it didn't. I know it wasn't really promoted much either, you know. I think it probably still would have done about the same, even if he hadn't passed. But I think with him passing, everybody wanted to go, you know, see the movie more so in the theaters than if he hadn't. I do believe. I think it pushed more of a theater drive for some of us, because like I was a huge Bruce Lee fan, so like I went and saw it opening as well, and it was a packed house, you know. And it was great. I mean, I didn't just go because you know, I'd already planned on seeing a movie, you know, prior. Yep. So, and he was in what I think was Rapid Fire before this.
Yeah, Rapid Fire and Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Thank you. Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, so like he was this movie, had he not passed it, it would have launched him into superstar, man. It would have been ridiculous. So yeah, it sucked, but we did get this awesome movie, and they can't take that from us.
Yeah,
especially those of us that got to see it in theaters, and you know, you guys remember getting it on VHS and seeing it. I remember it, like I was saying, HBO or you know, whatever it was that got it first way back then. You know, I remember that was the big draw to have. You know, probably Stars back then.
Yeah.
They also you know, pay-per-views, you know, they're
that's right.
That's on pay-per-view back then.
Yeah. Forgot about
it from your house. Yeah. After the theater had its run and all that. So, you know, I mean, way back in the day, those of us that are old enough remember, like, you didn't see shit until it hit VHS. We went to theater to wait till it came out on VHS. So yeah, we didn't have that nice little, we'll just watch it on the cable box. So yeah. The kids of today will never understand the pain that we felt. But no, thank you for the invite. And again, I do apologize, but we're right on that turn of the weather where it's just perfect weather to get the yard work done. Well, we'll burn this and have a little bit of fun. And I was having fun listening to you guys, even though my phone was messing up. But again, thank you always for including me in these.
You're talking about pain, Adam.
Yep. Always.
I want to bring you some pain.
Bang.
One round at a time.
You dirty giddy pig, you.
I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
I'm glad you didn't say you were glad he could come. That just sounds nasty.
I'm gonna mute you or something.
Greedy pig.
Son of a bitch.
See?
Not okay.
Works like guinea pig repellent, man.
All right, Draven, tell everybody what you got going on.
Yeah, so tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll watch tonight's episode of Dynamite.
Edge
after ETEP show, and yeah, Edge is back. Edge is in AEW now, so we'll get to hear from him tonight, and it should be pretty awesome.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm glad you.
And there's some more wrestle talk.
Yeah, so much wrestle talk, but yeah, I'm glad you were able to be here. And to be honest, I don't think I would have done this if you weren't able to. Like, if you were working tonight, I would have postponed it. But
well,
yeah,
glad I could have made, or I could make it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tony, it was awesome having you on tonight. What are you doing with your life?
Well, first, thanks for having me on. And that's one great thing about, you know, like I always tell these guys when we're watching like old school wrestling or something, that it's really nice to like be able to connect with people all around the country on a computer and like share these memories together. People we might not have ever known otherwise, you know. I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, not much going on with my life other than cooking dinner and coding. So yeah, you can follow me. You can follow me at Monotony. That's a 0 in the middle at here on YouTube. You can follow me at TToneDeaf on Twitter. And to Bruce and Linda Lee. To Bruce and Linda, thank you for having all kinds of hot, nasty ass interracial sex to make tonight possible.
He's not wrong.
Goddamn.
Okay, thank you. Well, it was awesome having you on.
Thank you, Trina.
Oh man. All right. And I want to thank everybody who I saw that Lurch showed up. Thank you for being here, Lurch. It was nice to see you. And Soul Assassin, thank you for being here. And let's see, we had Frankie. Nice to see you as well. Squibs, nice to see you. Yeah, let me see. Oh, Zombie Box, yep, Immortal Coil, Stig, Decepticons, Toy Mafia, and Solar Warden. Thank you all so much for showing up. You guys are awesome. I love having you guys here to talk to. You add a lot to the stream. I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, so we'll see you next week. I think it's gonna be kind of a toss-up between a couple movies. We're gonna have to decide. I'm thinking of either Friday the 13th Part 7 or Trick or Treat, the one with the bag on his head. So yeah, well, it'll be one of those movies, and but we'll see you here again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Real Horror. And yeah, thank you again for showing up. I really appreciate all of you.
Thank you for doing it and playing Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, that was fun. All right, good night, everybody.
Have a great night.